I don't do that because I'm terrible at it as well. It's not a bad thing. I just mean you need to practice more, that's all.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, anytime you want to get good at something, you gotta practice. You gotta practice.
Look at those rolls, look at those twists. Let me get into the mix and start talking shit. I get more love than a bitch.
You gotta practice. That's why we come back sometimes in this life, so we can practice things. So we don't have to keep doing them over and over again.
Fucking rock this beat. The fool's always out here trying to talk about me.
I've got enough practice with this. About to practice, to make connections with your mind and your heart. When I step out the door, oh, inside?
This is X Factor Plus. I hope the X.
Yeah, so wherever you go, you're practicing. So wherever you go.
Grandpas and aunts and uncles,
You like how they're saying?
Rated by several dancers who claim to know something about the things you don't. Unsupposed to think.
What would they need? What would help them practice?
Same way that guy that's still down by the river trying to get what he can out of 2 3D printers because a Batman passed there to see if he was still there. He's still showing the 3D printers to other homeless people. I Llewellyn Moss took him water because I knew he needed it. And I gave him shit that he didn't give me anything for. And as I tried to leave, he said, wait, you're not going to Snickers me on this stuff, right?
Excuse me.
And, yeah.
Why is Jack being a douchebag?
Because that's just who he is these days. He's had some things happen before. Panelverse, we've tried to get to the bottom of it earlier today. Fucking subject. Hello, Noel.
Hi. So I saw you and Jack and Margo onto the panel.
Yeah.
And Jack shouldn't had do that to Margo.
Now, the logic we get from that is if you see how Jack is treating us when he tells me, and I don't know if he tells you this or who he tells it, but he tells me he loves me. He tells me he's my friend, and that I'm going to like him so much.
How do we know what is right? And how do you know when it's the right time to do what is right?
I think a lot of that starts with some silent reflection, silent meditation, prayer, and introspection to make room for you to see what's right. You know, everyone like talks a lot on YouTube. Even in the chat, I hear people trying to get in my head or get in other people's head, like saying that this happened in the past with Jack. NPC, you're gonna turn out like this person if you follow Jack. It's like, bro, we're just talking, and I have uncommon commonality with Jack that it's easy for me nowadays. Either you're a dickhead or you're not, and you're not means good person, you know. And it's simple. Even with these interactions we're seeing in real time today, it's like simple, bro. We're here right now. What are we talking about? You know, stay focused.
Life only happens now. And that's what I realized. I mean, that's what honestly allowed me to humble myself to God. Really considering time. Time is just the observation of change. So time is change, and that's all we experience in our time here alive is change. So what are we holding on to? Why do we make some things so important? We'll destroy ourselves. right? Out of the infinite things and the infinite moments and the infinite possibilities that are out there, why do we cling to such small things? These are the questions I've been, I've had time and reasons to really go within me, to question me, and to question everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so for some of these people that show up here, man, they show up just to diminish me and my character. Blows my mind.
I know everywhere you go, if you sit your butt down, if you walk around, if you just graze upon the beauty of the world, that's all you need. That's why I get stuck. Sometimes. But then a lot of times, I get my ass kicked by myself telling me that I need to get up, go out and do something. And spare the melodramatics and flash and swag. Just want to be happy. Know that.
How you so steady with it? They say he had your pockets swollen. You gotta show me the shit. Gotta tell you how I'm doing this shit.
Our opinion. Sure. Like they would, just because we have an opinion against the mainstream, which is in a lot of mainstream media anyway, supporting, like they would like have a field day. People would be like, "Oh, you're so, you're this and that." Well, we just have an opinion about it.
Yeah, I mean, almost all of us. Almost all of us, the people who are interested in stuff. There's people who aren't interested in things and they don't really want to talk too much about stuff. They want to talk about products and things that they enjoy. But the people who actually care to think about the world, most of us in the world have had gay friends and all this stuff. It's not about hate. So as I said before, we don't even need to go down that road talking about it. There's so many people justifying why they think this, that, or the other. But one of the big truths is, I grew up in my teens through the 90s, and there was not this barrier between people. It wasn't there. I mean, I grew up in South Wales, so there wasn't that many people of different ethnicities, but there were. There were Indian families, Pakistani families, there were more sort of black families sort of in the bigger cities, Cardiff and Swansea, which are like the capital cities, and there was never this barrier there. We never thought of it as like us or them, and we shouldn't talk to them because they might get offended, or there was none of that shit.
Right.
That's all new. And now youngsters are growing up in this climate, and they must think it's always been like that, But it totally wasn't. Definitely, the climate around it has changed.
Yeah, the one thing I see where I don't see too much division is like this new hip hop movement. We're underground movement. Like, hip hop's always been pretty open, all different types of people. But now it seems like, especially with the underground movement, like crazy hip hop there's all types of people, black, white people, girls, like just doing their thing, and I don't know. Even as we speak, Washington, the New York Times did an article about the underground movement, about how it's crazy as shit. I mean, I was telling you about the no jumper stuff I'm seeing about these kids and whatnot. I know you're a hip hop head. I mean, what do you think? What do you think about hip hop? Did you think it would last this long? Because I remember in the beginning, like 30 years ago, 40 years, people were like, "Oh, it's not going to be around long. That's crap. Rap is crap." Did you hear that stuff in England?
Quiet night. Balboa Park Station. This is like a mausoleum right here.
Can't wait till the world ends and I can just camp out here.
Yeah. Right here.
Right here. Catch me in the BART stations, subway stations, maybe mountaintops on a nice day if zombies took over the world. Yep. I'll be that I Am Legend dude, Will Smith, running around in the daytime.
German Shepherd or Pit Bull?
Pit Bull, definitely. What's up, Pimpin'? How you been?
All right, how you been, bro?
Pretty good, man.
What are my strengths and my weaknesses? When would the seat be obsolete and all my people live? Where does whatever God you call upon reside at? Why do this kick coincide with the hi-hat? How do the disenfranchised get their lives back? Who is hacking when them knives stab by back? What it is, what it was, what it looked like. When will we see the inefficiency of hood life? Where is heaven, where is hell, where are you now? Why would you slumber on this wondrous new sound? How are you and how your folks doing? Who is viewing through the inner eye and viewing truth in place of ruin? What is you doing, dude? When is enough enough? Where is the sense in that? Why is you stuck like Chuck? How do you trans seeing smoother than a lamb's skin? Who is the being in that so-called man's skin? What define a man's kin? What do family mean? When's a house not a home? Where can man lean? Why you think they took the time to mix up the scripture? How you hold the missing puzzle piece but miss the bigger picture? Who you call a nigga? What do you think I am? When will my blood be avenged? Where's my land? Why can't you understand? How can I make it plain? So many questions in life, the answers say the same. Who am I? What are my strengths and my weaknesses? When would the seat be obsolete and all my people live? Where does whatever God you call upon reside at? Why do this kick coincide with the hi-hat? How do the disenfranchised get their lives back? Who will realize that these rhymes is a mind hack? What if everything you thought you knew was a lie? When do the truth apply? Where is your spook in the sky while I'm fly? How I got juice like GQ on the roof? Who should you throw the juices to and put that snake underfoot? Ask yourself what really matters. When's it time to mind? Where in life do ego shadow? Why you fighting blind? How you forever line stepping yet you soft when you cross it? Who's adept enough to earn a degree? Learning from losses. What kind of boss ain't got an office when they walk it like they talk it? Where's the cake at and why your repertoire all frosting? How you gain the will to tame the body and brain? Who understands your pain? What do you do to maintain, man? Where is your head at? Why is it stuck there? How do my rhyme book cook but the cuts red? Who is truly showing improvement? What's the mathematics? When's the world end? Where you get them bad habits? How do I make an intercession free you from the flame? So many questions in life, the answers stay the same. Who am I? What are my strengths and my weaknesses? When will the seat be obsolete and all my people live? Where does whatever God you call upon reside at? Why do this kick coincide with the hi-hat? How do the disenfranchised get their lives back? Who is the people pimping, profiting from crime raps? What's the point of that illiterate, auto-tune gibberish? When will we throw up a fist because we sick of it? Where is the love? Why you do me like that? How do I come up with these mind-bending cinema tracks? How do I come up with these mind-bending cinema tracks? What? When? Where? Why? In this journey, am I eternal? Am I eternal?
well.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean, for sure. Yeah, I remember when you know, NWA and Public Enemy and things like that first started doing the rounds, and you know, there was just those parental advisory stickers everywhere, you know, on the posters, on the CDs, on the adverts and everything. But yeah, there was a bad reputation around it, and people said it wasn't going to last, and it wasn't real music. It was just urban music, in brackets. But, you know, all of these things went on to create so much. The UK has got all these sort of particular little music scenes that started here as well, you know, with like garage and two-step and drum and bass, jungle, you know, loads of these sort of fusions that you have with like UK music and UK hip-hop between like Jamaican, West Indian culture, and like, you know, nerdy guys that were really good with instruments. You know, that was basically it. Jamaicans making music with like rich kids from Oxford, and they came up with all these new forms of music, you know. And yeah, I mean, I grew up in that time where there was just every other week there would be a new genre was appearing, you know, like tech jungle, dark step jungle, rolling jungle, deep drum and bass, you know, whatever. And so I became really sort of used to that thing, that this was going to keep on fusing and melding and that. And, you know, that's what I see more of now with this new school kind of hip-hop stuff, is the electronica and the sort of electronic music thing is coming back in. So all of the production side of it, you know, these kids can make these amazing arrangements. I say kids, but just anybody can make these amazing arrangements now on software and have all of the reverb and the echo, so it sounds just as big and huge as a big studio, you know. And one, in the process of mastering those tools, you know, they're looking all around the world and they're seeing all these other musicians, and it seems to be mostly from dance music, electronica. A lot of that is the sort of the back end to it. So at first, all of those musical genres were sampling Method Man and you know, all these guys, and it was like hip hop samples were appearing in it, and now it's kind of going back the other way round, I feel, you know. Well, that's the backdrop to it, at least. It's like the technology.
Right.
Yeah, that's the backdrop to it. But, you know, that doesn't encapsulate how much there is out there, the sheer amount of different types of, you know, there's like 30, 40 different genres of rap, you know, from trap to this, that, and the other, you know, there's so much, isn't there, you know?
Yeah, that's the big beef right now. The older heads, the Method Man, not that I've heard him say anything about it really, but Method Man, Lord Jamal, just like the people that have been around for since the beginning, who had to put in a lot of work because they used to get that flack. Like, the radio wouldn't play their stuff mainstream, MTV wouldn't play their videos really. So they had to be really, in order to make it, you had to be really craft your skill lyrically, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not really talking about the beats, because the beats have always, like, through hip hop, that's the one thing about hip hop. Beats have always, whatever you say about hip hop now and then, like, the beats have always been like pretty cool, you know, good.
Yeah, man.
But
yeah.
But in terms of like early hip hop, lyricism, telling a story was very important. Using the metaphors was very important. Not that it's not important now, but a lot of these older heads, they're getting annoyed and disgusted, even some of them, about the younger guys with the mumble rap, they call it. Rap.
Sure.
And so much so that they don't even want to associate with them. And then it causes a backlash with the younger cats. They're like, you old folks, what the hell you know? You old man, you're 35, you're 40. I don't think it's that old, you know? But like, it's like a fucked up reflection pattern. The old people don't want to help the young, guide the young. Just want to talk shit about them, and the old people and the young people don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's like, in fact, what's that? So you're the older generation telling us that what we're listening to isn't real music. Is that what you're really doing? Because that's what every generation does to every other generation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe you could be a bit smarter. You know? Yeah.
But you don't see that in rock music, though.
Right? With what, sir?
But you don't really see that in terms of like rockers are saying like, oh, I don't like this young generation of rockers.
No. Well, I think they probably do in their own specific genres, you know, like in the punk genre and this, that, and the other. But yeah, I mean, that's part of like the appeal of hip hop and stuff as well. Is they are real, you know, they're honest.
Daniel McAdams, just take a bit of a chill pill. I didn't even address the question to you. Relax. Calm down.
I don't want to relax.
No,
My country is at war.
Well, Mr. McAdams, if you are so concerned, about Ukrainians, then hang on. Mr. McAdams, if you're so concerned about if you're so concerned about Ukraine, get off the fence and send your forces and put boots on the ground. Don't lecture us here in India, okay? I'm not going to hear your lecture. And if you have really problems, go tell go tell the US President, Mr. Biden, who flashes. Who flashes his fancy credentials. Don't, Mr. McAdams, tonight. Don't, Mr. McAdams, tonight play the cat's paw for the West here. Do not do that. We have no. Hang on. You ask those Afghans. You ask those Afghans what they have gone through falling off planes because you dumped them. You ask the African nations because you dumped them. You go ask millions and millions of Iraqi citizens because you dumped them. You people and your colonial agenda, sir, has wrecked the South, has wrecked the East, and don't sit here and lecture us. Don't sit here and lecture us, Mr. McAdams. We shut him down.
I'm not talking. It's the other guy who's talking. I haven't been able to say a word.
Yeah, absolutely. The man has gone completely ballistic. And if he feels so strongly, he should go and fight alongside Ukrainians who are being killed.
I have not, dear host, I have not said a word yet. I don't know why you're yelling at me.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm talking about Mr. McAdams. Mr.
McAdams. I am Mr. McAdams.
Oh.
I am Mr. McAdams, and I haven't said a word, so stop yelling at me.
Okay, sorry. I got that confused.
The Ukrainian guy who's going nuts, okay? Not me.
Yes, I got that. That's Borden.
Hip-hop magazines, there's a certain level of honesty. They're not telling you everything, but they're still a lot more honest in the way that they will unveil like what their plans are and what they've been doing and where they were. You know, they're a bit more honest with that stuff. Rock, especially sort of mainstream rock and all these things, it's a lot more contrived, isn't it, you know? You're not allowed to say certain things. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not into those genres as much as well either, you know, so I'm just not really up on it.
Also, too, is not mainstream anymore.
Yeah.
Like, the rock, like, hip-hop is it seems to be, that's the mainstream, so... Yeah. You're not really, unless you're looking for those rock interviews and following the people on social media, like rap is what the standard, the conventional music now. I guess people say type of music, mainstream. By the way.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, when I was young, you know, I just kind of after a while I got bored of just general music, and then I got bored of like lyrics after a while. So I got really deep into just sort of atmospheric drum sort of beat things and, you know, rhythms, and it felt purer to just have like sound and stuff. And I think that's still a big part of it. I'm still like quite abstract in my tastes, and I often do probably like the beats more than I do the lyrics, you know. But that's just because I'm particular about my philosophy and my ideas anyway. Doesn't mean that I won't enjoy listening to somebody's point of view, and that's what I like about hip-hop, is you can actually, by the end of a track, you can understand where somebody's coming from, much more so than with other genres, you know, if they're singing choruses and shit. And yeah, I like that stuff. Sort of, I can relate to it a lot more. But yeah, I mean, I like classical music. I like a lot of ambience, electronica, hip-hop. You know, there's quite a few genres that I like, but generally, yeah, I'm not into that much guitar-based stuff, unless You're talking, you know, really beautiful old Spanish guitar or something. Just, yeah, most of the modern rock stuff and all that, you know, I mean, there's exceptions, you know, like Led Zeppelin and people like that. Really great bands, amazing bands, but again, I'm just not into the whole worshipping these rock idols thing, you know. It's boring.
What's next? What's next?